Good evening once more. Let's look at the life cycles of specific protozoa. The life cycle of specific protozoan species is influenced by a range of factors which include the environment, the availability of nutrients, and the interaction with the other organisms. For example, some parasitic protozoa will require multiple hosts to complete their life cycle, whereas others may alternate between free living and parasitic phase. Let's look at the ecology of protozoa. Protozoa play an important role in the ecosystems because they are the primary producers, consumers, and decomposers. Remember, ecosystem refers to a biological community of interacting organisms in their physical environment. So, the protozoa interact with other organisms in complex ways and are influenced by other. They are also influenced by a wide range of environmental factors. Let's discuss the roles of protozoa in the ecosystem. Photosynthetic protozoa, such as some flagellates and cilia, these are important primary producers in the aquatic ecosystems. Then we have the heterotrophic protozoa, some of which include the amoeba and the ciliates. These are important consumers and they help regulate population of bacteria and other microorganisms. How does it do this? It does this by eating up some of the bacteria and also other microorganisms. That's why we say they are responsible for regulating the population of bacteria and other organisms because they eat them. Let's discuss the alteration of generations. Decomposer protozoa, such as the flagellates and the ciliates, these break down organic matter and they release nutrients back into the ecosystem. In other words, they are recycling. There is recycling taking place in the ecosystem because they break up the organic matter and they release these nutrients back into the ecosystem or into the soil ecosystem. Yeah. Protozoan interaction with the other organisms. Protozoa interact with other organisms in a variety of ways, such as they can act as predators in that they hunt and eat other microorganisms and eat other organisms. They can also act as parasites. They can also act as symbionts in that they are living in relationship with the other organisms. Some protozoa can also cause damage to their hosts, and also they are responsible for a wide range of human and animal diseases, especially when they damage their hosts. Let's continue with the alteration of generations. Environmental factors affect the protozoan populations. Protozoa are mostly influenced by a wide range of environmental factors. These include temperature. The temperature is very high or the temperature is very cold. pH, nutrient availability, and also competition with the other microorganisms. So, if there are no nutrients, it means that some of the protozoa are going to die off And if the nutrient is very little, it means that the protozoa has to compete for the nutrient with the other organisms, such that they can either survive or they can either die because of competition for the nutrients. Then changes in environmental conditions, for example, pollution or climatic change. These ones also have significant effects on the protozoan population and the ecodynamics. If there is a change in climate, it means that some of the protozoa may end up dying, then some may either survive, and also if there is pollution, some of the protozoa may also die off. Let's discuss the aspect of protozoa and diseases. Protozoa are responsible for a number of human and animal diseases, and the diseases that are caused by the protozoa species, they have significant impact on the health and also well-being. Human diseases that are caused by protozoa include malaria, Chagas disease, leishmaniasis, gardiasis, and toxoplasmosis. The protozoan diseases are caused by different species of protozoa, and these are transmitted by various routes, for example, mosquito bites, contaminated food and water, and direct contact with infected animals or humans. Let's look at the animal diseases caused by protozoa. Protozoa causes a wide range of diseases in animals, including the livestock and the companion animals also. Some of the examples of the diseases include babesiosis, filariasis, coccidiosis, and trichomoniasis. These diseases also have significant economic impacts, particularly in agriculture and also veterinary medicine. In agriculture, if the animals have been infested with these protozoas, some of them can end up dying. And once they are dead, it means that the owner of the animals will have no animals to sell. And if they have no animals to sell, it means that they cannot also be able to earn money from the animals because their animals will have died as a result of the disease, or some of them will have been infected with the disease, especially if they are not treated, they can die. Let's look at the pathogenesis of protozoan infections. The pathogenesis of protozoan infections, this usually varies according to the species of protozoa and also the host. Protozoa may cause diseases through direct tissue damage, that is, they destroy the tissues of the host, or the release of toxins, or the activation of the host immune system. Some protozoa species are able to evade the host immune system and establish chronic infections that are very bad for the host. Let's discuss how we can diagnose and treat protozoa. The diagnosis and treatment of protozoan diseases can be very complex, and it usually requires laboratory testing and clinical expertise. Treatment of protozoan diseases involves the use of antiprotozoa drugs such as the antimalarials or the use of antiprotozoas, as well as supportive care and also management of the various symptoms that occur as a result of protozoa. Let's discuss the evolution and phylogeny of protozoa. When we talk of phylogeny of protozoa, it means the classification of protozoa, the evolution and phylogeny of protozoa. Protozoa exhibit a diverse range of evolutionary histories and also relationships. Therefore, understanding the phylogenetic relationships between the different groups of protozoa is important for understanding their diversity, ecology, and evolution. Let's continue with the evolution and the phylogeny of protozoa. The evolutionary history of protozoa is complex and it still remains a subject of active research. Protozoa are thought to have diverged from other eukaryotic lineages, and this occurred as early as the time life began on Earth, and have since evolved a wide range of adaptations and life styles. Let's continue with the evolution and phylogeny of protozoa. Molecular phylogeny of protozoa. Molecular phylogenetic studies have shedded more light on the evolutionary relationships between the different groups of protozoa. And these studies use molecular data such as DNA, DNA sequences to infer to the relationships between the different species of to infer to relationships between the different species and groups. The molecular phylogenetics has led to the recognition of several new groups of protozoa that had not been discovered before, and this has also helped to clarify the relationships between the different groups and also the relationships among the protozoan groups. Therefore, protozoa have been classified based on a range of morphological and molecular characteristics. When we talk of morphology, when we talk of morphology, it means the various shapes of the protozoa. The relationships between the different groups of protozoa are complex and continue to be refined through ongoing researches. First of all, most of the protozoa have different morphologies. That's why research has to be continuing to look at the different species. Some protozoan groups, such as the ciliates, these are well understood, while others, such as the microsporidians, these are still a subject of active research and debate. Let's look at the techniques used for studying protozoa. Studying protozoa can be quite challenging because of their being small in shape, their complex morphology, and the diversity of the habitats and their lifestyles. However, a wide range of techniques have been used in studying protozoa, and these techniques include microscopy. Microscopy is a key tool in studying protozoa, and this allows the researchers to observe or to look at the morphology of protozoa, ultrastructure, and also the behavior of protozoa. There are different types of microscopes. that are being used in studying the protozoa. We have the light microscope, we have the electron microscope, which is very powerful, and the fluorescent microscope. This can be used to look at the different aspects of the protozoan biology. Let's look at the culture methods that are also being used for studying protozoa. The culture methods, these have been used or are being used to grow protozoa in the laboratory and provide a controlled environment for studying their growth, metabolism, and behavior. The different culture methods may be used depending on the species and also its requirements. Let's look at the molecular techniques. There are molecular techniques such as PCR. PCR stands for polymerase chain reactions. This is a technique that is used in the laboratory to amplify millions to billions of copies of the specific DNAs of the protozoa, such that the genetic diversity and also explore the, their, their evolutionary relationships of the protozoa. So these techniques are particularly useful in studying the non-cultivatable or difficult to observe species of protozoa. Then we have another technique which is known as the biochemical and physiological assays. These have been used to measure the amount of protozoa metabolic activity and function. These assays can be able to provide the insights into the protozoa physiology, behavior, and the responses to environmental stimuli. Let's look at the applications of protozoa. Protozoa have a wide range of applications in biotechnology, research and development, and also in agriculture and aquaculture. Protozoa can be used in biotechnology applications such as production of enzymes and bioactive compounds. Protozoa can also be used in bioremediations of some of the species, in that protozoa are capable of breaking down pollutants and other environmental contaminants, hence making the environment safe. Let's discuss research and development. Protozoa are important medical important module organisms for studying basic biological processes such as cell biology, genetics, and evolution. Protozoa have also been used in drug discovery and development, and some species are known to produce bioactive compounds. Agriculture and aquaculture. Protozoa also play important roles in agriculture and aquaculture because they are involved in nutrient cycling and regulation of microbiome populations, in that protozoa can also eat up some of the microorganisms, and once they are if some of the microorganisms are eaten up, then it means that there is regulation of the microbiome populations. Some species of protozoa are also used as indicators of environmental health or disease in livestock and aquaculture systems. Thank you for listening. That's the end of our presentation for this week.